So let's get started lying on our backs. Our favorite way to start a class. Soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. And you'll see all of our sequences, we choose to lie on our back because it's just how we like sequencing, working progressively. But you don't have to obviously start your class lying on your back. You can start however you wish. Can you guys hear me fine online, Inka? Is it loud enough? Good.
Can you see me? Is my
I can see you perfectly. Good. Cool. So soles of the feet together, just let the hands rest along the side of the body, wherever feels the most comfortable. And then just starting with a few big, deep breaths. Noticing the quality of your breath this morning. And simply just using the first few moments of the practice to check in. Maybe noticing how the body feels different to yesterday morning. We're now arriving in a almost completely new body, different sensations. And so just reminding you that this is your practice and you know your body best. So anytime if you're experiencing any pain or discomfort, just back off. We've still got a long day of yoga ahead. Long but fun day. We'll take 5 more deep breaths here. And then gently bring the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. Finding a little massage through the back. And then find your way through center. Grab behind the knees, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, and we'll move into happy baby. So how you take happy baby is the elbows come to the inside of the knee, and the hands can grab the outside of the feet or the ankles. And then you draw the knees down towards the armpits. And it's the first one of the day, so if the tailbone lifts slightly, let it lift. Rather trying to get a nice compact shape, so really bringing the thighs down to the sides of the body. And once again, a gentle rock from side to side may feel good. Keep a hold of your right foot, release your left foot onto the mat, keep the left knee bent, so the left foot will plant, and then we'll move between our happy baby and our supine pigeon. So you'll work that knee out to the side of the body, and your left hand can help to take the shin parallel across the body, working into that pigeon shape. Maybe you can feel the glutes from yesterday. And then gently just alternate between the two. So you'll move happy baby and pigeon. So move slowly all into almost every corners of the hips. See how that feels. Take 2 more breaths. And the next time you bring that foot through pigeon, you'll place that right ankle above your left knee, moving into figure 4. Lifting your left knee up, hugging knee to chest. Sorry, I'm just trying to troubleshoot with Lerato. And then really open up through that right knee into external rotation. On your next exhale, we'll release that left foot down onto the mat, arms come out to the side and twist over towards the left so that your right foot steps onto the mat into a figure 4 twist. If you want to, you can gaze over the right shoulder and just finishing off the twist. Two more breaths. And then gently coming back through center, release that top foot, hugging both knees into the chest. Welcome, Lerato. We're just still easing into the practice, so you can join us lying on your back.
Can you see me?
No, the video is black. Good. And then make your way back into a happy baby. So soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Yes, there we go. Got you. You might have to tilt it down slightly so I can just see your mat. It's facing up towards the ceiling. Yes, better. A little bit more down, sorry. A little bit more. Everyone just hang out in happy baby. It's a good one to hang out in. Luckily it's not. Cool, thank you. Luckily it's not like chair pose or something. Okay, keep a hold of your left leg in pigeon. Release your right foot down onto the mat. And we'll start to alternate between happy baby and supine pigeon on the left leg. So you can already start to link it with your breath. We'll inhale, moving into your happy baby, and exhale. Right hand can help if you wish. Bring that shin parallel across the body. And then move between the two. Alternating between hip flexion and then external rotation in the pigeon. And then the next time you bring it into pigeon, left ankle above your right knee, coming into figure 4. And your right knee comes into your chest. So left ankle's above the right knee, release your right foot down onto the mat and twist over towards the right side. So what you can do, Lerato, do a figure 4 on one side for about 5 breaths and then figure 4 on the other side for about 5 breaths, just so that we can match up and get both poses in perfect. So hold for about 5 breaths and then change over to the other side. Then we should line up at the same point in the class. Let's take another 5 breaths here. Lerato, you can swap your legs just to get a nice external rotation warm up. And then we'll come back up through center. Hug both knees into your chest. Find a nice grounding through the back and then extend your legs up towards the ceiling. We'll take our right knee above the left. So moving into cow face legs, you might be able to grab the shins or reach up and grab the feet. The tailbone or the lower back may lift, that's fine, especially if the hips are feeling slightly tighter. And then drawing the feet down towards you. So cow facing pose, lying on your back. Our knees are stacked right above the left. Good. Now keep the legs in their cross. Release the hands. Take your arms out to the side. Eagle arms. Right arm comes under your left. You can have the backs of the hands together or palms touching. All right. So you'll say for your inhale, as you exhale, crunch up. Tap your right elbow to your right knee. Exhale, lower down. Slowly crunch. Good. And exhale, release. Crunching up, head, neck, shoulders lift, tapping to knees. Exhale, release. Release your arms, extend the legs up towards the ceiling. And we swap it out. So you bring your left leg above your right. You might have to lift the head, neck, and shoulders to really grab your feet. So your left leg is on top of your right. You're reaching to grab the ankles, the feet, or maybe even it's just the shins. It's a tricky one. And then first just feel into the stretch. So we still have external rotation in both legs here. Now keep your legs as they are. Release your hands out towards the side. So bring your left knee above your right torso. So cross at the knees. So have a shape like that, crossing at the knees. Oh, it is. Sorry, I can't see it from there. Left on top of right. So just swap the direction. Good. But at the knees too. So not just crossing at the ankles. Can you bring your knee over? So you'll have to bend your knees a bit more. Yes, yes, good. Nice. Now, eagle arms, left arm underneath your right. Take an inhale. As you exhale, crunch up, knees towards the elbows. Inhale, release. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, release. Last time, exhale, crunch. Inhale, release. Relax your legs and your arms up towards the ceiling. And then knees come into your chest. So we're going to move into supine crow pose. So toes will stay touching, knees will come nice and wide, so as if you're doing a butterfly in the air. Extend your arms up towards the ceiling, flex into, extend into your wrists, actually just face your palms up towards the ceiling. Nice. Now really bring your knees as close to your body as possible. Take an inhale. As you exhale, push your hands up towards the ceiling. See if you can get your knees as high up onto the upper arms as you can. Round through the upper back. Take an inhale. And then exhale, release. Inhale here. Exhale, push into your supine crow. Gaze in between the palms. Keep your right knee tucked onto the outside of your right tricep if you can. Extend your left leg straight. Now see if you can push up a little bit more. Bring your left knee back up. Right leg straightens. Push up a little bit more. Good. Knee comes back up. Supine crow. Hold for a moment. And exhale, relax down. Knees come into your chest. Rock from side to side. Good. Now this isn't a part of our sequence, but while we're here, I just want to show you, keep your knees into your chest. Extend your arms up towards the ceiling. And then keep squeezing the knees into the chest as much as you can. Turn the palms away from you. We're going to inhale, lift up. Take both arms to the outside of your left thigh. See if you can bring your right elbow to your left knee and your left elbow to your left hip. So kind of doing a side crow. We would, of course, maybe bend the elbow to get more of that side crow shape. Slowly release down. Go over to the other side. So really push and round first. Twist to the right. Try to hook into that shelf. Bend the elbows. Good. You see how the core is working? Exhale, relax down, hug your knees into your chest. So you can do all kinds of shapes lying on the back. Grab behind the knees, find a few rolls up and down the spine. We'll meet in a Baddha Konasana. So butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. Hands onto the ankles. Take a nice inhale, lift up into the chest. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Allow the spine to round. Taking 5 breaths here. Gently rise up, keep your right leg as it is. Extend your left leg straight out in front of you. Flex that left foot. Take an inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your straight leg into a Janu Sirsasana. Remember what we spoke about last week. Toes are active. If there's a little bend into the knee, that's fine. And then we go as far as what our body allows. So the hands can totally be alongside the shin, working through external rotation in the right leg and a little bit of the hamstrings on the left leg. Not a little bit, a lot of it. Inhale, slowly come up. Modified side plank. Bring your right hand down behind you. Push into your left foot and right knee as you rise up. Send the hips forward, reach that left arm back. Check in maybe now how the wrist is feeling. Grip into the fingertips. Even in these transitions, create a nice awareness into the palm. And exhale, slowly release all the way down. Soles of the feet together back into butterfly. Just stay nice and upright, balancing out to both sides. And we'll swap it out. Left leg stays, right leg extends out in front of you. Flexing your right foot. Take an inhale, extend your arms up. Exhale, folding over your right leg. Inhale, slowly walk your hands all the way back up. Left hand goes back behind you. On an inhale, push the hips forward, reach that right arm up. Maybe straight to the front of the body. And exhale, slowly come all the way down to seated. Both feet plant on the mat. I'm going to do the side raise, but I think that's more see. Grab behind your kneecaps. Slowly sink back so that the arms are straight. Okay, so we're going to move into boat pose. Right leg lifts. Left leg lifts, and then hover the arms, extend them forward. Okay. So we're going to alternate between boat pose and seated crow. So your arms will push forward. As you exhale, bring the knees wide, toes to touch, and take a balancing kind of seated crow. Yeah, now squeeze the knees nice and high, round your spine, make yourself as compact as possible. Release back into boat. Maybe you want to straighten your legs. Exhale, seated crow. Push round to the back. Make yourself as compact as possible. Release, boat. Bend your straight knees. One more time, seated crow. Really push and round. How high can you get the knees off the arms? I know it's a bit of a balancing act, but it's fine. Slowly release, last time into boat. Hug the knees down onto the chest. Place the feet down, head comes down onto the knees. Okay, so doing crow pose seated. Fine. So if we were doing side crow in our sequence, we might do side crow seated. So you can release down, bring your knees into your chest, arms out in front of you, and then exhale, twist over towards your left side. Try to hook and make that shelf. Now maybe you put a little bend into the elbow just to get that shape. Good. Now come up through to center, twist over towards the right. Sometimes the top elbow is easier to hook than the bottom. You could do this with feet flat, feet hovering makes it a bit harder. Slowly release, cross over the ankles, come into child's pose. Good, knees wide, toes to touch. So just showing you in the classes when we start to sequence, we can do different poses in different shapes, in different positions to help us kind of get the idea of where we're going. Taking 3 full breaths. And then rising up into all fours. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees hip width apart. Now check in with your hands. Spread the fingers wide, grip into the fingertips. Okay. Cat and cow. As you inhale, drop the belly down, make way into your cow. Exhale, cat, push and round. Really feel that protraction through the shoulders. Inhale into your cow, belly drops down, shoulder blades squeeze slightly together, open the chest. Exhale, push and round into your cat. One more time, inhale into your cow. As you exhale, push into your cat, look forward, lean forward over your fingertips. If it's too much for your wrist, take note, maybe don't lean as much. And exhale, slowly come back into a neutral spine. Send your right leg back behind you. Take an inhale. As you exhale, right knee comes to right elbow. Squeeze it up high. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, right knee to elbow. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to elbow, look forward, lean forward over the fingertips. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Toes can point slightly out, just as we would in a Malasana. Tuck your left toe, send your left knee a little bit further back. Just take a moment in your lunge. What feels really nice, especially when warming up, is to do a little rock from side to side. Just feel into your hip. Now lift up onto your fingertips to create space. Left knee will lift. Look forward, step left foot to the outside of your left hand. Sit down into Malasana Yogi Squat. If you need to take a couple of steps to get there, take a couple of steps. Check knees are tracking over your toes, maybe adjusting the angle of your feet. Elbows pushing into the knees, find a slight lift into the chest. So just broadening the collarbones. Good. And then place your hands down onto the mat, step your right foot back into your lizard shape. So you'll drop your right knee down and do the same little movement from side to side in your lizard. Left foot is to the outside of the left hand, and we're just rotating or shifting side to side. Cool. Great. Right knee stays grounded. If it needs to shuffle a little bit closer, you can do that. Spread nice and wide with the fingertips. Push into the hands. Send the left leg back behind you. Take an inhale. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Last time, knee to elbow. Extend it all the way back. Drop that left knee down. Good. Now check in with your hands once again. Sometimes we forget. Step one foot back and then the other into your plank pose. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Give a little pedal into the feet, draw one heel down and then the other. Easing up into the backs of the legs. Find stillness in your downward facing dog. On your inhale, extend your right leg up, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, come forward into plank, right knee up onto your right tricep. Inhale, right leg up. So just tapping knee to elbow. Exhale, right knee draws high up onto the right tricep. Ready, get those hips and core involved. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, knee towards the tricep. Inhale, right leg up. Step downward facing dog. So if the wrists are feeling a bit niggly, you just don't rock forward as far. But see if you can still work that knee high up towards the body. Good, so we do it on the left side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left knee high up to the tricep. See if you can squeeze it up towards the body, really compact shape. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, left leg up. Last time, exhale, knee to elbow, squeeze, push through the hands. Rising three-legged dog. And back to down dog. Good. Take 2 more breaths. Bend into your knees, look forward, step to the top of your mat. Bring hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Slowly roll all the way up to standing. And then take a moment in your Tadasana, arms along the side of the body. Gently close the eyes. Feet together, toes touching, slightly wider if that feels better for you. Take 2 full breaths. On your next inhale, Utkatasana chair pose, so feet together, sink down nice and low, extend the arms all the way up. As you exhale, bring the hands down to the floor, knees come wide into a Malasana variation with the toes touching. Okay. So from here, you can step back. Maybe you'd like to take a little bit of a hop. So really grip through the fingertips and push. We'll jump back into a plank pose. And then downward facing dog. Take a full inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale, extend your right leg up. Lift high up onto your left toes. We'll slowly hug that right knee high up into the chest, squeeze it in, and then step the foot in between the hands. Oh, nice and soft this morning. Beautiful. Roll over into Skandasana, bending into the right knee. You'll spin your left toes up. Left leg is straight, right knee is bent. Allow your right heel to lift if that feels better. Good. Take an inhale here. Exhale, Skandasana over towards the left side. Good. Turn to your left foot into a low lunge. Now hands down onto the mat, step back, plank. And then push back into downward facing dog. Keep the stance nice and long. Inhale, left leg lifts. We take the half circle flow all the way to the other side. Lift high up to your right toes. Squeeze left knee to chest. Keep pushing into your hands. Land left foot softly in between the hands. Nice. Good, Veronica. Great. And then Skandasana, bend to your left knee. Spin over towards the side of the mat. Good. So you'll turn towards Skandasana facing me, Lorato. So your left toe will turn slightly. Good. So your knees going slightly out to the side of the body. Skandasana over towards your right leg. Spin into a low lunge facing that right leg. And then downward facing dog. Nice. So now we're going to practice a little hop to the front of the mat. You know that if it's better to step, that's fine. What I want you guys to feel is that your hands are almost acting as a brake. We jump into a Malasana. So you might look forward, lift high up to the toes, and then try to land softly at the top of your mat. Nice. Hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Rise up to high mountain. And exhale, Tadasana. Okay. We're going to move to moon salutations. Remember, these are the tricky ones around the mat. So what I want you guys to really focus on is listening to the cues, especially because we're turning. Just listen to which leg and see with the cues, can we kind of find a nice flow within that. Okay. So standing at the top of the mat, create your Kali Mudra, which is interlacing the fingers, releasing your index finger. As you inhale, arms extend up in line with the ears. Exhale, take a side bend over to your right. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale over to your left. Inhale up towards your right, back to center. Exhale, step your left foot back into goddess pose. So your hands can come through to heart center, bend your knees nice and low. Okay, so left leg would have stepped back. Inhale, straighten your legs, triangle on the right leg, right toes to the top of the mat, left toes turn in, extend your arms, right hand goes down to right shin. So triangle on the right side. Bring your left hand down to the mat, spin the back heel up, pyramid pose over your right leg. Squaring the hips over to the front of the mat, take an inhale. Exhale, drop your back knee down, Anjaneyasana, right knees in front, arms extend up. Good, so Anjaneyasana, right knee stays bent, left knee drops. Good. Hands come down into the mat. Skandasana, keep your right knee bent, spin over to the side, lift your left toes. Good. So we don't move to the back of the mat, front knee first. Now we move over Skandasana over your left leg. Low lunge back of the mat. Drop your right knee down, Anjaneyasana, arms extend up. Left foot is in front. Exhale, hands down to mat, tuck your right toes, straighten both legs, pyramid pose, both legs straight, left foot is in front. Drop your right heel down, left hand to shin, open up triangle pose onto your left leg. Your back toes are turning in slightly in triangle. There's a bit of a foot shuffle. Okay. Rise up into goddess pose, toes out, heels in, hands at heart center, sink down nice and low. Okay. Step to the back of your mat to your left foot, mountain pose. Okay. Inhale, arms extend up, create a bind with the fingertips, release your index finger. Exhale, side bend over to the right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to your left. Inhale, arms up. Hands at heart center. Step your right foot back. Goddess pose. Sink down nice and low. Toes out, heels in. Inhale, straighten your legs. Pyramid to the, triangle to the left. Straighten your left toes. Turn your left toes out to the side. Reach forward. Left hand to left shin. Right arm up. So pyramid onto the left side. Drop your right hand down. Did I just say pyramid? That's why I'm confusing. Turn your right hand down, pyramid over your left leg. Spin your back heel up, both legs straight. Lerato, make your stance a lot wider. Wider stance between the legs. Drop your right knee down, Anjaneyasana, arms extend up. Exhale, lower your hands, keep the bend into your left knee, Skandasana with left knee bent. Move over Skandasana to the right leg. Low lunge over your right leg, drop your left knee down, arms extend up. Anjaneyasana. Left knee down, right arm up, both arms. Exhale, hands down to mat, pyramid pose. Tuck your left toes, both legs straighten. Left heel down onto the mat, right hand to right shin, triangle pose. Left arm lifts up towards the ceiling. So in triangle pose, your back toes are turned in slightly. Good. Rise up into goddess. Both toes out, heels in, hands at heart center, sink down low. Step to your right foot, top of the mat, into Tadasana. Okay, got it. We add on from there. Hands at heart center, bring your left ankle above your right knee, sink down low into a figure four chair pose. Okay? Step left foot back, goddess pose, knees bent, toes out, sink down nice and low. Okay, feet wider, wider, wider. Straighten through your legs, triangle over to the right leg. Right leg straight, right hand to shin, left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down, pyramid pose over your right leg, back heel lifts. Good. So pyramid pose over your right leg. Back heel is lifted. Okay, Veronica, bring your left hand down, spin your back heel up. So pyramid pose is the one where we're facing the one side of the mat. So have a look if you're unsure. Have a look, Lerato. Left hand down, both hands over your right leg. Spin your back heel up, good. Now drop your left knee down onto the floor, Anjaneyasana, arms extend up. Exhale, hands down onto the mat, keep your right knee bent, Skandasana over your right leg. Skandasana to the left. Low lunge to your left leg. Drop your right knee down. Check that your knee is over your ankle, otherwise you shorten the stance somewhere. And then arms extend up in line with the ears. Anjaneyasana, left knee in front. Well done, guys. Exhale, hands down to mat, pyramid pose. Straighten both legs. Drop your right heel down, left hand to the shin, open up into triangle pose. Let that right hip come with you. Up into goddess. Bend your knees, sink down nice and low. Step to the back of your mat to your left foot, Tadasana. Nice, I can see it slowly coming all together. Well done, guys. Okay, last time to the front of the mat. Figure 4, right above your left knee, sink down nice and low. Big step with your right leg back into goddess pose, toes out, heels in, sink down low. So we take the pyramid to the side that we just came from when we start. Straighten the legs, triangle over towards your left leg. So straighten your left leg, other side of it. Left hand to left shin, right arm up. Good. You right in, left leg. Turn your right hand down, pyramid over your left leg. Right knee drops, Anjaneyasana, arms extend up in line with the ears. Exhale, hands down to mat. Skandasana, bend into your left knee. Good. Skandasana over to the right side. Low lunge over your right knee. Bend your left knee, arms extend up in line with the ears. Exhale, hands to mat. Pyramid pose, straighten both legs, send the hips back. Last time, triangle, left heel drops down, right hand to shin, sweep your left arm up. Rise up into goddess, bend your knees, toes out, heels in, hands at heart center. Exhale, step to your right foot, hands along the side of the body, close the eyes for the moment. Take a nice full inhale and full exhale. Nice full breath. And exhale. Good. Bring your toes and heels together at the top of the mat. Utkatasana, sink down nice and low into your chair pose. Arms extend in line with the ears. And then as you exhale, bring the knees wide, lifting the heels if they need to, and coming down into a Malasana. Okay, so let's just do a leaning forward and then we'll come and set up for pro. So just to familiarize ourselves with the shape of the pose. So we've got our hands shoulder width apart out in front of us. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Okay, now I want to make myself really nice and compact. So as I bend into my elbows, I really try to get my upper arms down to the inside of my legs. Look forward and lean forward. So just for now, find a slight lift into the heels. As you rock forward with your chaturanga arms, feel how the shins and maybe the inside of the knees create a little bit of a shelf on the back of the arms. This is just a nice little tester to see how are the wrists doing. Remember, I have to look forward and lean forward. And then step back into downward facing dog. Okay, so we can use that as a bit of a tester to see, okay, how are we feeling? Does anyone in studio want to bolster? Yes, okay, 2 bolsters here. If you're at home and you're feeling a bit fearful, or maybe just today feels a little bit wiggly, that's fine. Maybe you want to put a bolster in front of you. Okay, bend into your knees, look forward. Step feet in between the hands and take a little hop. Okay, so into your Malasana, apologies. So toes touching, knees come out nice and wide. Bring your hands down into the floor in front of you. Spread your fingers. Now remember, we need a little bit of space to look forward and lean forward. Okay? So I want to see you guys here. Fingertips come, or hands shoulder width apart. So remember, not too narrow. We need this wide base of support. Now lifting up into the heels slightly. Create a bit of a shelf. Look forward, lean forward. Once it feels stable, maybe lift one foot. Maybe lift the other. Okay. So Nigar, that looks great. You need to kind of, yes. I think your hands may be a little bit too close to you, Nigar. Have a look and see, because when you want to lift, you want to bring your elbows over your wrists in order to get that leaning forward. So it feels as though you'll need to lean more. Yes, good. Now look forward, maybe lift one foot. Can't quite see the black leggings. Okay, take a little bit of a breather. Let's check in here in the studio. Knees above, you see I should bring knees on the elbows, it's fine. Woo, we're exhausted today. Yeah. Nice, okay, well done. Good, how are we feeling? Warm. Warm. Nice, keep leaning forward, looking forward. Nice, oh, good. You're quite high up. Christina, hands a little bit wider. It feels tricky, so we're seeing a lot of different variations studios. Some have their hips quite high, which is fine, but I'm further away from you. Just another variation. So the more compact I get myself, do you see how high my knees are coming up? Because if my knees are here, it feels like I get stuck in a little handbrake, okay? So I think that this is also something that may help you, is to really bring myself down. So you see my knees are almost on my upper tricep, so when I lean forward, the shelf is there. It feels a lot easier the more compact I am, and the more I huddle my arms, my knees up my upper arms. Nice, Inka, well done. Great stuff. So feel how it feels differently. Nice. That looks good, Akila. What you can also try is with the elbows going out. See what happens if you keep the elbows like this to make the shelf instead of like this, because I can see the arms are shaking because they're working hard. So what Akila's done is the elbows go out wider, just making it a bit harder. There it's a little bit more compact in terms of shape. I don't know if you guys can see. So always bring it, so just pause there. So bring your hands in, your elbows in there. Yes, like that. Now see when you look forward. Now you're going to lift the heel side because you're going to go forward. Okay? Now keep leaning. There. How does it work? I'm leaning on my elbow. So what your knees are. So it might be, you need to see it again. Can you say that? I want to see if you can cut a little bit lower. And see if you can almost this off the arm and the crease there. So you see my elbows almost in front of you? Yeah. It looks, it's quite hard and low, but I want you to try it. If it feels better with the bolsters, you're going to feel like you're super compact. But there you look a bit more, I'm just showing you guys if you want to have a look at Keyless, because it looks so much better. It looks great. It looks like you're not more confident in it. Yeah. So let's try, we'll do it together. So you're making yourself really nice and compact in terms of shape. And then look forward, leaning forward. It should be a little bit of weight on above your elbows. Good. Nice!
Hi.
Yeah. So I think what happened was sometimes the weight sits down to the elbows, so you actually get your knees as high up on the triceps as you can. Okay, who's super close? There's quite a couple. I didn't get to see everyone because everyone was doing it at the same time. Amy,
I'll hold it
got
for
it.
a second or two and then.
But Amy puts her knees on the.
I think I find it better, yeah, a little bit. Well, they just go there kind of now, start there, and then they just kind of.
That's fine. Feel the other way as well, just so that you know the difference between the two. How was everyone online? I saw Inka, I saw Angela. How did that go, Ange?
Karen, a cue that I was always given when I learned, I don't know if this helps, but it was to get into the shape and then lift your bum as high as possible. So to go up like this, because then it almost puts your knees into your armpit already. I don't know if that helps anybody there who's about to attempt it though.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So I don't know if you remember last time, there's two different ways to do it. So that's how I learned it, but that puts the kneecap on the arm itself. So it kind of looks like this. So the bum comes high and it looks like that. Okay.
Okay.
I have the one that Amy's doing, which is it's a different variation, and it's helpful when you want to start sending one leg back into one-legged crow. Okay. So
I'm doing it.
okay.
I'm lifting like that though, but I don't put my knees on my arms, so it's like I'm doing both. So my legs are quite wide.
I see what you mean. It's more like you're not putting it on, you're bringing it slightly to the outside.
Yeah, so a little bit both. So crunching down, but then also lifting my bum so that I'm forced to go forward, and then my knees are on the arm side.
Yeah. So there's lots of different variations. If you actually go and look at the pro now, you'll see some people have their hips high and some have their hips low. The reason why we teach it that way, I mean, they're both just different variations. I also learned the hip high one, like pretty first on. What I found, especially mostly with teaching students, once you've learned it that way, it's kind of like, cool, that's it, made it click. What I found when teaching students and I get nice and compact, there's more of a shelf because there's more contact area between my legs and my arms, but it's more compact. And so that might be a little bit tricky to get people into that right shape and lean forward. So it is nice, like I said to Amy, to explore the having the knees, okay, she put them more like on the triceps, or to play around with having more compact, leaning forward. How does that feel slightly different? So that's fine. If that helps you get into it, that's useful. And then what we work, the more like the pro pose we work with is with the hips low in terms of, you'll see in one of the pictures, she's really small and compact, but you can do it hips higher if you want to get one leg up. And there's a range.
Yeah. I find your way that you've taught us really, really helpful, because I also kind of ended up hurting my triceps in the beginning. But yeah, just in case somebody that you help someone.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, thanks for the suggestion, and try it out as well and see how it goes for you guys. What I want you to feel, we're going to have a feeling with full crow on blocks, with our feet on blocks, okay? So what that does, and this is helpful for students who struggle with the lean, okay? So remember, I need to lean a lot to get my feet up. However, if my feet are lifted, it helps the lean a bit more, okay? So what we'll tell students, and it feels scary because now I'm lifted. So we'll do the same thing. You can try it out, just watch, but I'd recommend trying it out because you can experiment. Yeah. So what I do is I have the exact same set up, but because my knees are lifted and my hands are down, I might be able to get my knees higher up on my arms, so it helps me get into that shape a little bit more. Now I look forward, lean forward, I'm pretty much just doing that. So it actually helps me a lot more in terms of stability. Now, if my hands were floppy here, it's not going to feel stable. If my fingers are gripping, it's acting as a brake. The more I lean forward, my fingers grip and push me back. So my fingers are also adding like a little brake and accelerate. This is how you learn it. And very, very helpful, but it's now you're a little bit higher. Cheryl, see? Okay, on your next one. Woo! Nice! Yeah, I'm going to show you there. Well done! So Cheryl lifted up. What happened was I don't know if you've noticed, Cheryl's hands are turned outward slightly. Does that feel better for you? Because you don't do it in your downward dog. So what she's done is she's turned her hands like this to lean forward. Maybe it just helps you feel like you've got a bigger base of support. But now that you notice it, see what happens if you turn your fingers the right way around. Sorry, you guys, I'm trying to spin you guys around here. Can't really see with that stuff. There we go. Did it feel different? No. Oh, so then it's sometimes something just happened without noticing it. So traditionally, if I say traditionally in Bakasana, we have the fingers pointing forward just as we would in a plank pose. Okay. So maybe hands are a little bit too wide. Yes, that looks better. Nice. Ooh. Okay, check slippy mat. Slippy mat is a thing. So if you have a slippery mat, you might want to put it
back with my toes.
Oh, yeah. But still, if it's on my mat, no matter how much I push down, they don't. Okay, they do slide a little bit. I'm not going to push as much. So the nature of your mat also makes a very big difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions online? How did that feel for you guys? You guys good?
I can practice.
How are you feeling there, Veronica?
If I practice, I'm going to get it right.
You're getting it right. I didn't see how close you were, but I know that I see you getting into the shape, and I can see I know your wrists are a little bit niggly. How are they feeling?
No. They're feeling okay. I don't want to do too much, but I'll practice it
Okay.
on the blocks.
Can you get 1 foot up, or are you still busy on the leaning
1 foot.
place?
One
One
foot
foot
up.
up. Nice. Good. One
Yeah,
foot
but I
up
can't get down.
little trick. Is a great trick in terms of just getting that weight there. That's so close. You think your hands can be a touch further away from you to help you lean a bit more further forward. Okay? So when my hands are too close to me, I can't lean forward. That's a little bit better. Okay? Now look forward, lean forward. You might want to have this little just here, okay? Okay? Good. Lift up. What? Just like
blocks out.
Look forward, good. Nice. So what I want you to, what you can practice on, what you can look at is, you're already looking further forward than last week, but look to the end of the bolster, and then sometimes, and this is a cue for everyone, sometimes the knees kind of splay out of it, so I need to imagine my knees are squeezing into my arms and my arms into my knees. So if that kind of starts to happen when the knees splay out, I need to squeeze my knees in. So think of that cool little contraction there. Okay, especially if the knees are slipping, pull them in, make it strong. Okay, anyone else super clear that maybe wants us to take a look? Super close. So my vet got up, you guys were fine, how did it feel, Seb? Good? Any questions about crow? This is one of the arm balances that we do look at in your pose review. This one and your side crow, I think it is. Just to have a look and see how those are looking, how it goes, because it's one of the arm balances we can teach to beginners. It's really nice because how many of you guys couldn't do crow 3 weeks ago?
Me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 of us have learned it in the space of 2 classes. That's pretty cool. All right. Okay, let's quickly recap our side crow. So we're going to do side crow, and because if you guys saw the sequence that we have for crow has quite a lot of hamstring stretches, right? Cool. So we're going to move into split C side crow too, twisted Hercules pose. Okay. So once again, you may find, I couldn't quite lean forward yesterday. Let me try on the blocks on side crow 2. But it feels like I'm like so tall now. Okay, so we sit down onto our haunches, we twist, front elbow, and sometimes, you see what I just did there? I like move my body out the way. It's like it's kind of like my tummy caught on the back of my leg, so I twisted to get my belly past. Okay, so sometimes it's a bit of a maneuver. If you guys can't see, you might swing around, you can just look there. So I've kind of got, but now what happens is I have to kind of place my hands a little bit more further forward. I'm going to start bending into my elbows, create a shove. Back hip, raise on the back arm, slide my feet out. Okay? Now I'm looking forward, top leg goes straight out, front leg straightens. Okay? Bend and down. Okay. Your legs may not go fully straight. Angela's laughing. I couldn't see it. Didn't feel like my front leg was straight. Working it towards straight. Okay? So that's what we're going to play around with. For those who struggle to get that back hip into that crease of the hip, to get that back elbow into the crease of the hip, sometimes it's a twisty thing. It's too compact. It's too squished. It's a very squishy pose. What I want you guys to try, and maybe we'll all do it afterwards, is the one-armed one, which looks harder, but for a lot of people can be more accessible because it's less squishy. So remember, side crow with 2 arms, fingers are pointing opposite or 90 degrees, knees forward, hands 90 degrees, pointing away. In one arm, they're facing in the same direction. My hands come the same line as my feet. Nothing's happening on the outside arm. I'm resting kind of the mid-thigh on this elbow, okay? I move forward. Watch how much distance I take. Okay, there's my hands. I move sideways. Do you guys see that? Okay. We often think it's a lot of upper body strength. It's also a lot of stacking. You'll probably have to bring your hands a little bit wider, Cheryl. Okay. Let's try normal 2-arm side crow. If you're feeling like you've got the stability, move super duper slowly to start to straighten the legs.
So it's inside crow, the legs meant to be straight, or is that another pose now?
No, it's twisted Hercules.
Twisted Hercules.
So it's a variation of side crow. Normal side crow is knees bent. Bend your elbows, bend your elbows. Good. Look forward, lean forward. Look here. Move in this direction. Bend your elbows. So you've got to stack. If you guys are doing the one-armed one, nicely, nice. When you're doing this, just single-armed one, you have to bend the elbows to stack the shelf. It's hard because you think when I bend my elbows, I'm going to fall. Okay? So bend this top arm first because this is the one supporting you. I need to bend to get it there. Okay. I know it's tricky. Okay, wider hands, a little bit thick. Try with the blocks again.
I wasn't being heavy.
Yeah. Oh, you were weren't able to get your hands down. You do sometimes when you lean forward. Okay, go ahead as you were. I'm just gonna have a look at those online first. Watching you guys. Good. Did you get it? I missed it. You can have to do it again.
How far
Nice. Look forward, Lerato. How forward are they? So place your hands down. Okay. So you want to bend your elbows and let your hands make contact with your body. So if you guys just watch online, okay, look forward. Okay, now bend your elbows, start to lean forward, Inka. Look forward of your wrists. Are your hands slippy? Okay.
No, I just feel like my arms are too short and my legs are too wide to like lift them.
Can you get your palms flat?
And I'm using blocks, but I don't know if it's helping.
If the blocks are lifted, can you get your hands flat? I struggle to see with the dark mats. You see, you can get your hands flat, which is fine. Lerato, that looks good. Just look to the top of your mat. Yes. Now lean forward and then lift your feet. The setup looks good. You just need to look forward. Nice! Yay! Move slowly, 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 slowly. Okay, let's all watch Inka. Good learning opportunity for us.
No, not me.
Okay, I know it's tricky. Okay, bend into the elbows. Now focus on hooking that top hip. Yes, yes, yes. Now you've got to squeeze the knees together.
Do one toe on the
What I'm saying, there's still a lot. Can you get that back elbow into the hip, or is it still hanging in midair?
I think when I'm on the blocks and my arms are too short.
Okay, just hold on for a moment. I just want to check. So I want you to do side crow facing the bed. So wait, hold on. Turn so your knees are facing the bed rather. Sorry, my words. Yes, and then bring your hands towards me. Okay, so I can see it that way. Okay. Now look forward, lean forward, bend the elbows, hooking the shelf. Your left elbow needs to hooking. Yes. Now look forward, slowly. Do you have both legs up?
One.
One leg. Okay.
Oh, no, can't do the other.
Now I've got to look at you. So the setup from that side, I'm going to have to ask you to do it one more time, facing the other direction again. I want to see what's happening with those legs. So there is a bit of squeezing between the legs, but in order for one to slide away, if you just pause for a second, Inka, let me show you. So my legs may slide slightly in terms of, but I'm still going to keep my knees together, but sometimes that happens. So you want to, as much as you can, squeeze that top knee in. But sometimes it can, it's like the body will move there because it wants space. Okay. So let's try it one more time. Let's have a look there. Well done, Laura, Angela, saw that. Good job. Okay. Now I want you to imagine that instead of lifting the legs, imagine they're sliding away from you because you're going to need them to move slightly backwards in order to lift. Oh, great. And slightly forward, Akila. Need a little bit more space and a little bit wider. Okay, sorry, I can't see with your job. Okay, got you. Okay, see if you can squeeze that left elbow. Can you get that left elbow? Does it end up touching? Because it looks like it's away. There we go.
This elbow is touching my leg.
It's looking better though. Give one more shot and we can take a rest. Sorry. I know it's tricky, but you're so close. Okay, bend into the elbows, look forward, lean. So you need to bend more. Okay, take a breather. I know, sometimes when we get, okay, hold on guys, sometimes when we get tired, it's like the arms get, so what I can see is that sometimes we get so fixed, and we do need to create the shelf, but we also need space to create the shelf. So sometimes when I'm trying to so hard to like get the hook, then I don't have space to move. So what I want you to feel is when I lean and bend my elbow, then I've got the hook when my elbows are bent. So try to get them to meet at the same time. So my elbows are bending in, I'm leaning forward, now it's hooked. Now I just need to tip. You guys see? Okay. So you can take a breather, play around with it. Did you get the arm placement? They were a bit close. Okay. Yeah, so if you see, I know it's sort of tricky, but if you see, for me, it's about 30 centimeters or so. They're also a bit narrow. Yeah. So you want them wide. Think about the distance between your hip and the shin. That's the shelf you want to create. That's about hip distance, kind of like more or less. All right? So you can have a slide looking forward, leaning forward, and then the feet slide away from you. Okay, and you're going to bend the elbows.
But this is supposed to be on this.
arm, right?
It feels so
Just-
far away.
It does feel far away, but if you lean slightly forward and bend the elbows, by leaning, so there it feels far away, but when I bend the elbows, it's not far away. You see what I mean? So I want you to bend the elbows to get into it. Nice. Okay. All right. So now bend and lean. Nice. That's a little bit better. Probably a teeny bit closer, like 5 centimeters. And then look to the top of your mat. You kind of have to use a little bit of body awareness. Okay. Bend your elbows. You got it? Bend your elbows. Okay. Now you're going to your knees higher. Take it. Okay. Sometimes we get in our head, right? We go, no. Take a step back. Put it to the side. Come back to it later. So what I was just showing Akila then, you guys can see on the screen, is that when I lean forward, I need to bend. I need to get my elbows 90 degrees. So work with creating that shelf in the bend, even if it's just this. Even if it's just that. Okay. Did anyone give the one-armed version a try?
But I have one arm.
Okay. I know the arms are a bit tired now. Did anyone want to give it a shot? Anyone? Okay, you want to give it a try? Remember, fingers are pointing in the same direction as the toes. I'm going to move the camera over to the side. Okay. All right. So now remember, all your weight is going onto that right arm. Okay. So you're kind of moving in a diagonal. So your gaze is moving more towards front here. Okay. So you're moving in a different angle. You're not moving forward. You're moving sideways. Okay. So look forward here on your bolster. Bend your elbows. Okay. Now you got to lean forward over your fingertips more. Grab into your fingertips. Good. You got to move forward more. Maybe see if you can slide forward and lift your right leg. Nice. Okay. Slide. You got it there. You're in the right direction. You just need to go further. So you're probably about here. And you see my elbows aren't quite 90. As soon as I bend them 90, that's when my shelf comes up. I need a 90 degrees in order to make the shelf. So sometimes it's more bending the elbows. You got to bend further more, and you got to lean further more so you can get your elbows over your wrists. I know it's scary. Keep going more. Good. Listen, there we go. You're moving in the right direction. Okay. So it's sometimes hard to do more. You're like, I've done so much. So you're getting in the right direction. You just need to lean forward more and bend the elbows more. And it comes with strength because we're not used to bending our elbows and holding. Okay. Anyone online trying the one-armed one? Ingo, you're trying the one-armed one.
No, I didn't. I found it much easier than the double one.
Yes. So could you get both legs up in the one leg?
Up for a second, then I thought I was going to fall, so I put that.
Would you mind showing us? Can we have a look? I know the arms are tired, so we know that the creating of the back shelf was quite hard for Inka in terms of create, and a lot of people struggled for it. For me too as well. Just have a look. Nice, good, Sim. We got both legs up on the one arm. But that's fine. One arm is fine. Okay, so remember, if you're doing the one arm, one Inka, have your hands pointing in the same direction as your toes. So fingers will face towards the bed. Okay, just shh. Okay? So don't move your body, it's hard. Have a look at me. You're going to mirror me, if you don't mind. So have your knees pointing towards me, like this.
Yeah.
Okay? And then bring your hands pointing towards me. Okay? Okay. So you're going to have them to the side like this. It's still a bit scrunchy, so move the body out of the way from the legs. Okay, but now you've moved your knees in the opposite, so you're actually setting up for double leg. Okay. So have a look before you come up. Hold on. Before you come up, I want to make sure the hands and knees are right. So this is for side crow. Okay. Have your knees towards me and point your fingers forward so it will lean. If the knees move apart slightly, it's fine. He's like, sorry, it's my time to shine. Okay. Now point your fingers towards your knees. That top arm really has to niggle in. Okay. But you know, yes, that's a little bit better. Okay. Now you're going to look forward towards the camera and you're going to hook your left knee on your right arm. That left arm is going to be straight. Okay. Now you're going to look more forward and lean forward. Good. Yes. Nice. Good.
No.
So did the one arm feel better for you because there's space. For a lot of people,
Yeah.
there's no space.
I think my right shoulder in general from life is just a bit stronger, and my left hip's a bit looser. So going the one way
Yes.
feels like the other side just feels like totally different.
Exactly. That will be the most case for a lot of us, is that one is easy, one side is easier than the other. I always aim on one side because it's my favorable side, and that's fine. So keep practicing the one arm version. That looks like you've got a lot more space. And that second one is a lot more compact. Play around with that. Okay. What two more things to do before we've got social media? It's like, what's happening today? Okay. I'm going to show you Tittibhasana. And you guys are going to go ahead with it if you would like to try it. And this is more because this can also be a pose that you guys can sequence towards. Okay. So Tittibhasana is firefly. This is the one that you were doing yesterday, Amy, with binding both legs.
Trying
Which
to
is
do
fine.
yesterday.
So how we come into Tittibhasana, you require, it's a very compact kind of shape as well, requires a lot of a push, protraction in the arms. My legs are higher than my thighs, so I need a lot of hamstring flexibility. My hip flexors are working super hard to get in there, so I want a lot of strength here. But then also my legs need to squeeze into my arms. So there's adductors involved. It's a lot, okay? So bear with me when I try to deal with this to you. Okay, so there's two ways to do it. You can do a bend knee variation just to get used to that weight distribution on your hands. Very intense on wrist because I move past extension. So a lot of wrist flexibility. So we're going to have to do quite a lot of hamstring work, quite a lot of bringing my body underneath. So if I was doing kind of like low lunges, getting there, moving to splits, skandasana, similar to what we did today, to get hamstrings, inner thighs, hips, all around hip mobility, but then also kind of getting into the strength of the legs. Okay, so how to come into it is I stand with my feet a little bit wider, sink down nice and low. This is not good, maybe come around the side. It's not going to be a good angle for anyone, just me. And I want you to see the pose from the side anyway. Okay, so I'm going to come nice and wide, and I want to get my arms as much behind my legs as I can. So either upper arms, if flexibility allows for it, shoulders. Okay, my fingertips come down behind me, and I let my heels of my hands drop down, and I sit on the back of my hands. Okay, I need a little bit more space. Okay, my hands are straight, hands are even, so I can walk my hands back and either just interlace my feet to hover. Oh, I shouldn't have looked. Or I straighten out my legs. Okay.
Are your arms straight?
My arms are supposed to be straight, but mine don't straighten yet. They're straight. No cool. So you work to straighten the arms because that's where the strength is. For me, I find coming into it, I need to have a little bit of a bend to hold my legs there. When I'm in the pose, then I can push and then work to straighten out the legs. Okay, so it requires a lot. We can get into the balance and then we work on, for me now, it's like, okay, can I push to my hands, get that rounding into my back? Can I work a lot? And my hamstrings are pretty flexible, but it's the strength to straighten them in the shape. Does anyone want to give it a try? So the trick is, coming into it, you want to get your body underneath your legs as much as you can, maybe even with slightly straight, okay? Your feet can be a little bit closer together. Francesca, would you mind doing it on my mat?
I don't know how to do this.
But I'm gonna instruct you to it. Don't worry, okay? All right, so your feet are about hip width apart, maybe slightly wider. Okay, sink down nice and low, try to hook your arms underneath your legs. Your palms, okay, so your palms are gonna come back shoulder width apart. So you might have to bring your hands slightly wider. They come to the inside of your feet. So bring them a little narrower so that they shoulder width apart. Now you're gonna bend into your elbows, sit your hips back onto your backs of the arms. Okay, look forward. Maybe look forward. Nice. Nice. Good.
I actually always struggle with this.
So the key for this one is you need to sit back on your arms. And so you can have, I think we'll look at the manual and see. Let's go onto the page that it is so you guys can see the picture too.
130.
130, thank you. So if you guys have it 130, do you see there she's got straight arms and her legs are like here, all right? But coming into it, sometimes we have that little bit of a bent arm. In that shape, you will be able to probably push your arms to straighten. You need strength for it, and then work to straighten out the legs in front of you.
For the wrist, because here is very big extension.
Very
big.
big
Will help.
So your blocks will help if you cannot get your hands down to the floor. So the same thing, if I wanted to do it on blocks, it would help in terms of I wouldn't get my hands down as low, and it's going to give me a little bit of a lift. In fact, it does actually feel quite nice. Okay, when I push, you see I kind of have to like, I push and then squeeze, push and squeeze. And that's kind of getting the inner thighs, arms involved. So this is helpful if your hands don't come to the floor.
Are your fingers facing?
Fingers are facing the front. Nice. Then kick out your legs to straighten towards. Do you know if you put your hands really narrow in a lot of poses, even sometimes in down dog, try your hands slightly wide here. You do have really narrow shoulders, but it's almost like the pinky fingers alone. So make it a little bit wider. Yeah. So coming to okay, just hold on for a moment. So you guys would have to. Okay, let's pause it. Deal with one thing at a time, otherwise it's not happening. So I just want to check. So when you, that already looks better in terms of shoulder width. Might feel a little bit more stable. Squeeze your knees in. Now lean back. Okay, find your balance. Good. Straighten, straighten, straighten. Good. Slippery balance. Okay. Evans and Akila, you guys are both coming into like a squat, which is fine. It's a nice starting point. But I want you to feel that you tuck under. Okay. My hands are not. Make sure I'm in the camera. So my hands need to come behind my feet, or maybe a little narrow in terms of setting up hip width apart. Okay, so if they're too narrow, there's no support there. Okay, so you would bring your left hand slightly in towards your right, Akila. And can you get the palms flat with your fingers spread wide? A little bit better. So you maybe try putting your hands on blocks, but you actually do get them back, but it depends how the wrists feel. That looks better, right? So sit back onto your heels. Look forward. Eventually, match your body. You sit back onto your heels and look forward. And imagine you sitting on your legs. The worst thing that can happen is you fall on your bum. And it's not just okay. Nice done. So for you as well, it's sliding down your legs. So you've got to get that hook. A lot of these poses, do you see that it hooks on your upper arm?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys see that? Okay, we're gonna do our inversion. We'll have a whole lunch break, you guys can play. Okay. Quickly swing your mat to the wall. So 3 can come here. 1 there. So maybe you 3 up on this wall, you there, and then you share the space here. Okay. So all I want to see, well, let's wait for everyone to set up for the last 10 minutes. Oh, do you have to say? Have you got space? Yeah. Okay. So for all of the arm balances we've just done, there's a very thorough pose analysis on the website. So you can also go and have a look at Catherine's videos there as a bit of a recap. And especially if you're going to keep a sequence towards it, then you're going to want to watch those anyway. Or if you're just curious, like you don't have to watch them all, but they'll definitely help you over time. So no rush. All right, so just recapping what you guys did with Catherine with the headless headstand. All right. So has anyone tried them since Friday? Probably not, because it's only Sunday. All right. So let's have a look at what you guys have been doing. Who's still doing walking up the wall? Who's happy with just having their feet up the wall, getting used to the weight bearing on the shoulders, okay? That's what you're working with, you can go ahead with that. For those that are still working on and happy with trying the kick-ups, I want to see the kick-ups with the head not on the floor. Okay, is there anything you guys want me to recap? Do you want to go over it? The kick-up, okay. So the thing with the kick-up is that we want to have a little bit of buoyancy in this bottom leg, okay? So focus on getting the top leg up, but we need stability in the arms too. Can I slide my mat between you guys? Just because I'm used to the stickiness of mine. Okay, so remember we find an interlace of the fingers, so it's kind of like a pincher, which is form balance. Pincher Mayurasana with arms like this. Head does headstand, we interlace the hands, but the head is still free. Okay? So when I come into my shape, you can give yourself a bit of space from the wall, but not, well, you'll gauge, but not too close to the wall. So I've got about 30 centimeters. All right? I walk into a short down dog kind of shape. It's more like a short dolphin. Look forward, lift one leg up. Okay? So this leg can come in close, even if there's a little bit bend into that knee. Now I look forward, this bottom leg has a little bit of a buoyancy kick. Okay. So focus on the kick of the bottom leg, the top leg straight and active. So when the bottom leg kicks, aim top leg to wall. Okay. Because when you scissor the legs, if you sit the one leg up, the other leg come down. So aim top leg to wall, but focus on the kick of the bottom leg. Okay. Don't worry about it if you're working with the kick. You might still be working with a little bit of, just get used to what it feels like. You feel that this top leg stays strong and active, so the bottom leg can kick.
With the pain in the hamstring, is it okay to try this or is it?
Pain in the hamstring?
Yeah, I still have pain for hamstring since
Well,
a week.
try it.
Yeah.
If it's painful, give it a rest and walk up the wall. So you shouldn't have any weight on the head. Your gaze can be in between the hands or your head can be relaxed. Okay, let's do the ones in studio, then I'm going to turn it to you guys online. Otherwise, there's so many people upside down. Is that fine?
You said that head
Head is off the floor.
but it's not on the hands or anything.
Your hands can rest on the back there, but I'll just try it out first. So
Yeah.
my head's not on the floor. Nice. Good, Christina. Well done. Okay. Yvette, that looks good. Walk your hands slightly further forward. Okay. Now come into a very short downward dog. Okay. Walk your feet in more. It doesn't matter if you're standing leg bends. Okay. Lift one leg up. Okay, now your kicking leg. Just kick with your bottom leg. Give a nice strong kick and up. Good. And up. Great. But what you need to do is lean a bit more further forward. Okay, so my shoulders need to be over my wrists. So if the hamstrings are slightly tighter, it means that I'm going to have to lean further forward and my bottom leg will be a bit bent. Good. Akila, that looks good. Is your head on the floor? So this is the thing. So you can sometimes, this is where it gets tricky. I want you to try and have your head lifted. You can sometimes have the hands kind of resting there if it gives you stability. It's just a different way to do it. So hand on hand is fine. But I sometimes find is that my head then does push into my hands. So I want to try and push into my forearms so that I'm getting more work into the shoulders rather than like resting my head on my hands. Okay. So what you're going to do is come into like, yes. Let me check your, interlace your fingers and push. Because you might, if you do this, there we go. It's a little bit better. Your head, you might just have a really short arm. Okay, so Akila's got it's got the same as Catherine, right? So just do it seated like this. Do this. So just exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Do you guys see that shape? Okay, if only you guys can see on camera. Let's show them too. So come have a look. Sorry guys, it's fascinating. Have a look at what Akila does is when she does this, okay, now bend your elbow just as you did earlier, her head sticks out further than her arms. Okay, so you cannot, her head doesn't lift in space because there's no space there. So for you, put your head in this crease over here of your arms. If I can't show you there, but this, where my palms meet, this area here, you're going to rest the back of your head on it. Just don't get pushing. It takes a little bit. So how, if you want to see what it looks like in terms of being able to see there, I do it too sometimes. It's like that. Okay. So it's going to feel a bit odd, but I still want you to push because it's going to create lightness. Okay. But play around with just maybe that without kicking out, just play around with that hand placement. Yeah. Because for you, it's so now she, she can't not have her head on the floor because her body dimensions aren't allowing for that.
Yeah. I just want to put my head back.
Hey?
I just want to put my head
I know it's tempting. And look, some of you might still be used to putting your head on the floor, and that's fine. If you go out there and you still practice headstand, it's okay. If you decide it's fine for you. But this actually changed my game a bit because I realized oh my gosh, I can't do it without putting my head on the floor. So what are my arms doing if my head's on the floor? Not much.
I kind of like start with my head on the floor, and as I'm up, like, yeah, exactly, and then my head's not on the floor.
When your head's not on the floor kicking up, it feels a little bit less stable, but it requires a lot more in the shoulders in terms of stability. So it's nice to play around with it while you're in a training, like I said, just keep practicing it because I think you'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else want to have a look? Everyone got up.
I find that when I try to like when it's on my hands, kind of start doing this.
Yeah, it might be your mat if your arms are sliding out, and so that's kind of the tricky thing with it. You want to imagine you're squeezing your arms together, but mat will kind of help with that. Your head's not on the floor there, is it?
But that's what I'm trying, because usually I'm like that,
Yes.
and then I lift it,
That's
but
fine.
here it's in my hands.
Yeah.
So is that
So try the different kick up. So Amy's doing a little bit of a kick, hugging the knees into the chest. All right, which is nice. You've got nice and long upper body that helps with that. Let's see for you guys online. You guys in the studio, keep practicing safely, or turn around and have a look at those on the screen. Maybe that would be better. Otherwise, we're not having our eyes around. Okay. Nice. So keep one leg on the wall, one active leg. Good. And then slowly draw the heels together. Good, good, good. Nice. Okay, so heads off the floor. You're going to walk your feet into a very short downward facing dog. Nice. Okay. Have your top leg up. Focus on the kick of the bottom leg. The bottom leg kicks. Okay. So Nigar, focus on the kick of the bottom leg. Instead of your top leg open and taking you up, focus on the bottom leg. Okay. Nice. Cool. Lorato, that's good. You're right. So I can see you're comfortable with the kick. Try to keep your right leg straight and get your right leg up. Straight onto the wall. Okay. Look, you can kick up with bent knees. It's just slightly different, but I can see she's quite close to the wall there. You might even be too close to the wall. Good. Move sorry, Lorato, come down for a moment. I think you might be a bit too close to the wall. Are your hands touching the wall? Okay, bring them further away. Oh, you can't see me. Bring them about this much further away from the wall, because when you kick up, there's no space. The wall's pushing you back. Okay, so you give yourself a little bit more space there. Okay, let's have a look. Nice, Veronica, oh, good. Nice, okay, come down for a moment, take a child.
Oh.
Well done. What I would recommend, do 2 hops and then take a moment, stand up again, because sometimes we go, we lose the form. So well done, Veronica. Geez, she's like ready to go. 10 rounds in a row. Oh, is your head on the floor or is your head lifted?
It's off.
It's off the floor. Good. So what I think you can work on is try to walk your feet in closer. Take a breather. Walk your feet in closer even because the further your legs are away, the harder I need to kick. Okay, so the same thing I was saying to you, Yvette, by bringing in, if I just have a look at my mat, imagine there's an imaginary wall here, okay? If I'm kicking here, can you see how far I have to kick to get my leg in line with my shoulders? But if I walk myself in, you check my shoulders over the wrist, doesn't matter if this knee's bent, I can still kick. Do you feel it? Do you see? So shoulders come over the wrist, you're ready to lean into the forearms, that bottom leg, walk it in, doesn't matter if it's bent, you want to get as short as you can, and then the top leg kicks up. It will feel like you can kick up easier. Nice, Lorato, good. Okay, set up, when you come down, hold on for a moment, when you come down, set up again, downward dog, kick leg up, because sometimes we come out of it wide, and then we kick up wide again. So keep setting up shorter. Angela, you have a question?
This is the first time I've touched the wall. I'm so proud. I was so scared, but I just realized I think my arms are so long that I've got no stability from my head. So it makes it extremely strong. So I can't get my head to the ground at all, or when I'm there.
But that's fine. So it's nice to have your head lifted. I know without the head, there's like stability in terms of contact points between your head and the floor. But then you solely relying on your shoulders. So well done for getting up. That's great.
Thanks. I'm really scared.
See, when we break it down and we actually take it step by step, these sometimes scary things of inversions can, we've got so many different versions. Everyone is doing some form of kick up, and we're really, I don't know how it feels compared to Friday, but you guys all look pretty confident when I was watching you for the first time.
Got it.
Reservation, everyone's like, bah, 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 bah. Okay. Nicola, I didn't get a chance to look at yours. How is that feeling?
Actually scared. I wish there was someone just standing next to me. I think the person wouldn't even need to touch me or anything. Just
Yeah.
having someone would make me feel much securer, I think.
So kicking up is so scary because we're looking down. We don't know what our legs are doing. So fear is a big thing. And even sometimes the wall doesn't give us enough because like the wall's not going to help us, right? A person might help you and like catch you. We'll think they'll catch us. So what I would recommend is keep practicing walking the legs up the wall and just get used to that feeling of being inverted with you guys remember the legs up, right? Yeah. So my head is like this. I'm not even, I'm going to just do it. My head is like this.
It's clean, it's just very.
I'm more okay, so come into this shape and then play around with lifting one leg and the other leg. Okay, because that's also going to give me less support on the wall and build my confidence of my shoulders. And it's also the kick up is using a bit of momentum. So do that. I mean, we only started this on Friday. It's been like a day and a half. So try that, and then even baby kicks help. Okay, but I know kicking up is scary. And the only thing I can say is that by building confidence in our own body, we kind of build up that trust. Okay, so if you're scared, be gentle with yourself and take your time. We're all pretty scared. Even like, whew, the first time I did handstand, I was like, no, Catherine, it's not going to happen. So we kind of, it comes with time. And the best thing I can recommend is just walk up the wall. At the end of the day, in the morning, do a daily thing and it'll help. Okay. We're going to have to move on to social media, but we'll recap this when we get the time. Okay. Any questions that we have on this?
I feel sometimes like I'm going to fall forward. Is that a normal feeling as well? So when I'm like this and I'm trying to kick up, I feel like my head is just going to.
So yeah, we sometimes feel like we're going to fall, but if we have strong arms, we're pushing into the mat that's stable. Most of the time when we're kicking up the wall, we fall away from the wall, which is back onto our feet. So that's most of the time. If you're in the center of the room, then the fear is that you fall over. But I find most of the time we underkick, then overkick. Okay. But once again, building confidence in my upper body. Okay. Our body's there to hold, and we're going to do baby steps. Practice your kicks ups, practice your walks up the wall, and it will come.
Is that okay to use structure actually, because my head doesn't touch so actually I found that if I have something to hold my elbow together, I'm more confident to kick. Otherwise, like every time I kick.
So you do get a variation where you strap your upper arms in, and so it locks your arms in so that your arms don't slip out to the side. So it is an option you can do. However, I found that the strap stops me, so I'm not using my body to stop me. So what I would rather recommend in terms of practicing, and this is not so much a headstand, it's more in the forearm balance, is where I practice with a block on my hands like this. So when you do your form, I'm just going to use a mat for mine. So I put my hands like this, and I squeeze inwards, okay? And so when I come up, I lift one leg, do the same little hop, and then I can hold it there. Okay, so I'm still using my hand to squeeze in, rather than the strap holding it in place. It is an option you can do with trying, but then taking the strap away is hard, because like a crutch, because you always want to use it, you know? But that's up to you. It's another tool. I did it for a long time, but then I noticed when I took the strap away, I got really stronger, and I didn't need the strap anymore. So I would still recommend trying it without, just to build it. But in terms of feeling the stability, it does help. Okay, let's pull our mats around. Let's take 10 minutes for tea and coffee and breathing.